Welcome to the Conscious Investor. Let's get started. I'm so grateful that Princess and Mauricio have, joined me for this week of the Conscious Investor. If you missed the previous episode, we were talking about just the introduction. Who are they? What are they doing? And today we're going to dive into that one mindset shift that they made that has put their life on a different track. And, sometimes we make those mindset shifts and it's just 1 degree and that's all it takes. Remember, if you're flying from Los Angeles, the vicinity of where they live, to New York City, and you are 1 degree off, you will end up in Washington, D.C. So 1 degree difference makes a huge difference. So I'm just curious. Welcome back. First of all, welcome back to the Conscious Investor.
Thank you. Good to be here again.
So happy to have you. So, what is that mindset shift? It might be 1 degree. It might be a huge, 180. I'm not sure, but I'd love to know something that really changed the course of your path.
I think it goes back to probably almost 3 years ago. We had already been talking about looking for some type of passive income. We were exploring different ideas, just like everyone. Hey, this is a business opportunity. Here's another one. But we knew we wanted to be in real estate. And I was working with one of my clients. I was helping them buy a triplex, and we had already closed on the triplex, and I was going to meet them to get the keys. And my client, he told me, "Hey, did you see that big building on the way here off the freeway?" And he told me the color and all that stuff. And I said, "Yeah. What about it?" He said, "You need to get your commercial real estate license. You need to help us get something like that in the future." And I remember giving them the keys and going back home thinking, how could I possibly do that? Like, okay, it'll take me so much time to get the commercial license. And then I realized I was just trying to find excuses. Like, if he told me to do that, it's because he believes I can do it. So why am I trying to put excuses?
Wow.
So, hey, I need to get my license. It's going to take this much. It's going to cost that much money. I think that was probably the beginning, Julie. I think there's been quite a few, but I think that was the beginning.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Out of curiosity, you said a lot of people, when I speak about passive income, there is this whole, many people are like, what are you talking about? And so you had already even identified what passive income is outside. Most people, if you're listening and you're still, you're kind of like, Julie, passive income, what the heck? I don't know what this is. Just remember, if you are invested right now, you have a 401k, you have stocks somewhere, then you are passively invested. It's not like unless you're the one trading those stocks, you probably have somebody else taking care of that for you. That is a passive investment. You're not doing anything with it, but most people don't understand that. So you already had this understanding of passive income. I want to dive in, like, where did that come from?
I think passive income it comes from us working a lot and realizing that if we had some money coming in, if we had made some decisions, or if we make some decisions now and we have some income coming in the future, we won't be as tight as it is with our time. And, it's really easy to see it here. I mean, at least in Southern California, you drive by at 11 in the morning and you find some guys playing golf. And obviously, right, they're not checking in from 9 to 5. They did something in the past that allows them to be playing golf at 11 in the morning.
Or someone that is in Starbucks, just on their computer, spending all of their time just in Starbucks, go over here, go over there, kind of like, okay, what are these people doing,
Yeah, so we knew that it existed, and we knew there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of different ways. We just needed to find our own.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Okay. I have to ask you, Princess, I want to get to you, but I don't want to lose these thoughts because I'm like, oh my gosh, I think this is a common path. And I love, Mauricio, that you tackled something and you said, wait a second, these are just excuses. How are you? So many people have not personally developed to a point to where they can have that conversation with themselves, where they can say, I'm just making an excuse. I need to, suck it up and figure this out. Like, is there something that you had done in your life previously that had led you to this, just for lack of a better, like just personal awareness to be able to ask yourself that question?
You know what?
Did Princess coach you?
Well, I think that it's not something that I had done. I think it's more things that I hadn't done, because when I see people that are, having that time, I think they did something. If I would have done that, what they're doing in the past, I wouldn't be, having to work this much. So I think that was more the focus. It's not so much what did I do in the past that led me here, but what could have I done? If there's people, and you read it all the time, people that are working while others are enjoying, and their success comes later on. So I think that was more, if I don't take action now, I'm gonna regret it.
Okay, I love that you just leveraged FOMO, fear of missing out, right? It's like, okay, I have some FOMO because I see you get to a certain age where, you have friends that are professionals of whatever, the success level, and you can see success in others, and you can have that, oh, wow, if I would have just planted that seed and been disciplined and stuck with it, I could reap those results. So I love that you are leveraging that concept of, wait a second, I see that, I'm not going to miss out on this next chapter. Sure. That is powerful. People need to be writing that down right now. Princess, how about you? Mindset shift that you made?
Yeah. So, being from the Philippines and not really be, let me just say, we're not really that much fortunate enough to have, be on that level where people are just working at their, from home or with their time, using their time anytime they wanted to, or whatever they wanted to do with their time, right? So for me, it's like, okay, I'm just going to be working 9 to 5, right? Just be on the weekends, resting and everything, and doing whatever, or, spending my sick days or spending my vacation days whenever I wanted to, or whenever I needed to, right? So for me, it's like my mindset, what happens is actually his reason, or my, it's because he went into this specific event, right? Yeah. Like 3 years ago. And for me, it's just, I was even skeptical, really, to be honest. I was skeptical about all of this. I was skeptical in the very beginning when he mentioned to me, hey, you know what? I found something that we could spend more together, and spend more time together. And I was like, what are you talking about? Right? Like, yeah, like he's even really bragging me to go get onto this podcast and everything. So for me, it's just like my mindset in the very beginning is, I'm not even open about it. I'm skeptical about it. I don't know about it. I don't even care about it, to be honest. But then when he mentioned to me, like, hey, this and this, you have to do this. We have to go into this event. We have to be able to get into this event, or be able to be able to get into this business. And I was like, okay. But then as I read and more, or educate myself more onto this, and that's where my mind shift sets. It's like, okay, I think this is doable. I think we can do it. Yeah. I think we can probably be able to get into a deal. And even as we go toggle along with our first deal, or like just looking for a deal, the mindset is there. It's just like, okay, I know I could get a deal. I know I could be in that deal. And I know that I could be that person that I just listen to, I mean, there's no way that these people could do it and I could not do it. So for me,
I love this. I love this so much.
So for me, it's like, okay, we have to do this. Yeah. Both of us agreed on it, that we have to do this. We have to get into our first deal. We have to close it. And, true enough and lucky enough, we had closed our first deal on our daughter's first birthday.
Yeah.
Which is true. Very insane. I was just like, we're not even really preparing for it. We just wanted to have a deal. We were supposed to close like a month before that, but things happen, and we found more problems on our first deal. But it's a blessing in disguise. And we know we had the best gift for our daughter on her first birthday. So we're just like on our way to Wrightwood, like driving to celebrate her birthday. And then next thing you know, I was on the phone, he was driving, he was calling with our lenders, just making sure that we get all things done. And I was on the phone, like
signing documents
and everything like that. And I was like, oh my God.
And trying to feed our daughter.
True. So yeah, that's where the mindset, mind shift sets in.
How did so many people look at other people and say, well, they did it. This isn't for me. I'm not able, like the fact that you had this mindset of, well, if they did it, I can do it. I'm listening to this person, just like people right now listening, they're hearing your story. It's like you were listening to the story and then you're like, oh, I can do that. How did you cultivate that level of mindset to be able to, self-confidence wise say, I could do that. I love it.
When you actually hear the stories of the podcast, when you actually hear the stories of all those investors that, that are very successful right now, they all began at the very bottom. They all began at the finding deals. They all began connecting with great people. They all began selling whatever that they could do to be able to suffice their expenses and everything. And what actually resonated to me more is actually the story of Vinny Chopra. That when he first started it, he was just like selling books, at an early age. And for me, it's like, you know what, if he started that very early and he had that mindset, there's no way for me to get started right now and to still have that mindset. If he saw people getting rich, just doing something, just make sure that you put yourself or you put your mindset onto it, you can do whatever you want. And that's where the power of, The Secret comes in. I don't know if you've read The Secret, but that's when every positive things that you put thoughts in your mind, that would manifested anything that you wanted to do.
It's such a powerful concept when you dive into it. And I always recommend people, like, if you haven't consider that at all. In fact, right now when I'm recording, so we're recording this, but Ed Milet has an episode on his podcast right now. And I always recommend all these other podcasts, right? But he has a podcast on Ask, and it's with the guest it's an interview with the gentleman who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul and is a co-author. Fantastic interview, but I mention it because I hope everyone goes out and listens to it, because it's a fantastic interview and they discuss this very thing. And then they kind of shift it a little bit into discussing, like, what are the questions that you are asking yourself? So, you already had the answer, and that is, I can do this. The question is, can I do this? Am I capable? Am I, do I have what it takes? And you already had the answer to that, which is extraordinary. I absolutely love it. So then you make this and you put these two mindsets together. And this is the power of working, with your partner, with your spouse. It's just extraordinary. So how did you guys just really solidify this mindset together?
I have to be honest, sushi helped a lot.
Sushi helps everything. Tell us how.
Yeah, the reason I say that is because at first, like she mentioned, she was a little hesitant and like, oh, sure, yeah, we're going to buy a building, right? Whatever. But we started, like podcasts, just like what you're doing now. Like, this really helps. Like, it really educates people. So we started doing like sushi dates or Korean barbecue, and we would listen to a podcast, like put it on for an hour and just listen to what they're saying, listen to the stories. And it kind of became like our date nights, like our Friday date nights or Thursday date nights. So we would either buy food at home or go out, and we would listen to something on the way or at home. But that really helped us a lot. And by the time we attended our first event together, the mindset was more like, okay, we got to tackle the bull by the horns.
Yeah. And one more tip, if I would say, get some wine also, like tonight, just because you get more comfortable when it comes to talking to your partners. They tend to open more a little bit. You see the soft shell out of the harder shell, right? So you kind of like get more of their information, what they have on their mind, and what they're into, or what they are planning to in the future. So it's not something that every people probably would take it, but it's just one tip.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. What is the best way, as we wrap up, what is the best way for people to connect up with you?
Best way would be Facebook. I would say just look for our names, Mauricio Roque or Princess Roque. We're very active there, so that would be the easiest way to connect.
Sure.
Fantastic. So make sure you connect up with them. Make sure if you missed the previous episode, go back, listen to that. You'll get more of their story. And then remember, tomorrow, make sure you're already subscribed or that you're following the podcast, the YouTube channel, so that tomorrow, when we go dive into what they're consciously pursuing, you are like, it's at the top of your list, in your lineup to listen to. Until next time, live big, love bigger. A lot of people missed out on my recent offering because they simply weren't on my investor list. Being on my newsletter list won't provide you with access to the deals I have. This is because 506B regulations require you and I actually discuss your investment goals before I can show you the deals I have. If you're on the fence about investing in apartments, schedule a call today at 3keysinvestments.com. If you think you're new, so you don't want to be on an investor list, you're missing out on opportunities to refine your ability to review offerings because you simply will never see them. So head over to 3 Keys Investments and schedule a call.